Hi, you guys. I am back with another journaling video today. This is going to be my 2025 reading journal, and I was a little unsure about what I wanted to use, which book, whether I wanted to use an Archer and Olive, or if I wanted to use my traveler's notebook or a field notes. But what I really wanted to make sure I did was use something that I already owned. I wanted to make the goal of not purchasing something new. Although that's very difficult because Archer and Olive just released some really beautiful covers that I feel a little bit obsessed with. I'm testing out the paper quality with my fountain pen in these clips here. I'm either going to use an A6 pocket size Archer and Olive or an A5 Field Notes. The Field Notes has less pages, but they're larger, and so the big deciding factor was my 25 and 25 spread. If I was okay with not being able to fit all 25 book covers on the same spread, then I'll probably go with Archer and Olive. I just can't pass up how perfect this cover is, and so I am going to try doing the pocket-sized notebook for my reading journal this year. So now this is going to be more of the body doubling portion of the video because I did record most of the time that I was working in my journal here. So first I'm just going through all of the supplies that I have. All these really pretty pastels are actually stickers and markers that I had grouped together for a D&D campaign that we were working on. I was playing a satyr bard named Poppy, and she loved her pastels. So I already had all these kind of set aside for that journal, and so I'm just using them in this one. I don't usually use a lot of pastels, but the first book that I finished this year was Little Women, and I fell in love with the character Amy. I had a little bit of baggage with that character, and when the most recent film adaptation came out, I was annoyed because I felt like it was just a love letter to Amy. And perhaps that was because I had just been in a stage production of the show and I played Joe, and my now husband played Lori. And it was just a really special experience for us to be in those characters together. So all of that is to say that all of these pastels that I've been feeling really drawn to are because I kept thinking of the color light blue, like a powder blue, when I would read about Amy. And so I wanted to incorporate some blue into my journal this year in honor of the transformation of my feelings about that character. So I am now going to be working on my reading goal page. So I've set the goal of reading 75 books. In 2022 and 2023, I read about 150 books both of those years. This past year, I read 137 books. And I'm setting the goal for 75 books because I really want to slow down with my reading and do more note taking and just enjoy my time in a world more instead of reading, what's going to happen next. I just want to slow down and be mindful and enjoy the stories that I am in, and so setting a lower goal is part of that, hopefully. Stamping always takes such a long time, but it's worth it because all the little imperfections I enjoy. Unlike if I'm looking at my handwriting filled with imperfections, my feelings about that are a lot more negative. So now, the very satisfying portion of doing all of my lines and all of my boxes here. I'm trying to be really simple with my decoration this year. In years past, I've gone really heavy with all of the scrapbooking and torn pages and papers and things. And because I'm using a pocket size this year, I don't want it to get too bulky too fast. So I really tried to limit myself with the washi tape and the stickers and things. So just writing out some of the titles for my log pages. Although this is going to be primarily a reading journal, I do want to have it be kind of like my full media journal. So I made a log for movies and TV, for music, and for gaming as well. Looking at this still makes me really frustrated. I wanted to use that book sticker, but that orange is just so overpowering and just contrasts the blue in such an intense way. I might have to change that still. You'll see the lighting shift as I go through these next few clips because it was getting pretty late into the day at this point. I was so excited about this page because I've had these Pipstick stickers for a minute and I've been waiting for the perfect opportunity to use them, and this is it. So I just love that N64 throwback. And then this little portable CD player. Oh my goodness. It just makes me feel so nostalgic and happy. And I had to add this little iPod mini because that's the exact iPod mini that I had gotten for Christmas when I was in high school, the green one. These next pages are going to be for my 25 in 25 spread. Now I did have to figure out a way to use multiple pages for this spread in a way that worked for my brain. And it was really tricky figuring out the best way to lay this out. All of my book covers I print using my Canon Ivy, and I just in Canva will put 4 book covers in one of the 2x3 canvases. And so I'm just preparing all of those. They print as a sticker, so it's really convenient for this purpose, and I'm surprised that I haven't done it in years past. I'm just kind of trying to figure out the best layout buying myself some time by underlining this. But you'll see that I move these around a lot until I finally decide that I want to put them in rows. And it took me a long time too to figure out how I wanted to group them together. At this point, my camera started to overheat, so I finished putting down the rest of them off camera and wanted to kind of cap this spread by putting a 25 in the corner. But as you're going to see, it does not work out. The 5 looks really bad. Oh, can I fix it? Let's see. Nope, it's worse. Oh well, whatever, it's fine. Letting go of the perfectionism. And I decided to add some lines to these pages, my log pages, just to give them a little something extra, just to make them feel a little bit more complete. And this was the last page that I did that day. And so I am going to see you in the morning for a final flip through of my reading journal. And here we are now with our full flip through for my 2025 reading journal. Again, I'm using this little pocket size A6 Archer and Olive notebook. That cover was just so perfectly bookish. It's tiny, but this is going to be kind of an experiment. I tend to leave a lot of my reading journals unfinished, so maybe with it being a little bit smaller this year, it'll be less intimidating. And I've got my title page here. Brushing off some of the eraser bits that get left behind. My first spread is my reading goals for 2025. So I have my goal of reading 75 books. I am going to color code these. And so each time I finish a book, the color is going to pertain to its star rating, but I haven't been able to commit to the colors yet. So that part is still a work in progress. And then this is my reading log. I made a column for the author and then a column for the title. Hopefully, just including those 2 bits of information make it less overwhelming for me to keep up with, because I have in years past recorded a lot more information about each book, and it's just gotten to be too much to keep up with and I drop off. So take care of future me here. And then my log for movies and TV. I need to add Nosferatu and then also Godzilla, Kong, The New Empire. Because I've already watched both of those movies this year and loved them. My music log, if there are new artists that I'm loving, and video games that I'm loving, and I'm still just obsessed with these little nostalgic stickers here. I love them so much. Those are from Pipsticks. And then I have my 25 in 25 spread. So the first page is classics, and the second page is darker themed books, whether that be horror or dark fantasy. And then these 10 books are my book of the month physical books that are still unread on my shelf, so I grouped those together. Really all of the books on this list I already own physically, with the exception of Onyx Storm, which I've pre-ordered but hasn't arrived yet. So my book of the month books. And then the last page was kind of just my random last ones that I added here to make it to 25. So I tried to make it still look complete, even though it goes across 3 pages. And the pages that are after this are going to be for my monthly stats. So they don't have anything on them yet, but I left enough so that each month I can put my reading stats on a half page. And then this is where my journal entries are going to begin. So I started my journal entry for Little Women. I might have to do like a full page spread for books, but I stuck down the book that I'm currently reading just to see. And this is how many pages I have to work with, and I really can't tell if it's too many or too few. So again, it's really an experiment this year by doing a tiny pocket-sized reading journal, but I know that I am more likely to fill it out if I have it with me all the time, and it being a pocket size will make that really easy and it won't get so heavy over time. So I am hoping that this experiment is successful and I actually finish a reading journal this year. That's the hope. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And in the comments, let me know if you enjoy my journaling content and want to see more. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!